Hi, I'm Joe Ellison, author of Snarkey Putts, Paranormal Attorneys at Law Number 3, The Case of the Canine's Curse. Out now, just in time for Halloween. A tale of ghosts, of werewolves, and those most bloodthirsty monsters, lawyers. Talk about terror. Talk about mystery. Talk about laughs, hopefully. Anyway, it's available in either Kindle ebook format or as a paperback, and you will find a link below to its Amazon page. In the meantime, while you're pondering buying it, I am going to read to you, with your kind permission, an excerpt from my short story, 5 Minutes More, which is part of the collection 5 Minutes More and Other Stories, for which you will also find a link below. Well, without further ado, let us join our young lawyer hero as he crouches beneath a table in his law firm's library in the middle of the night, awaiting he knows not what. Here we go. It was 11:30 p.m. The argument had ended. The mess had been cleaned up. Al, Tom, and my brother had gone home, or so they said. The doors were locked. The lights were out. I crouched under the big table in the library, waiting. In my hands, I held a pocket tape recorder and an aerosol can of mace. I couldn't see much from my hiding place, but I could hear. When I heard what I was waiting for, something slanderous and incriminating, I hoped, someone was going to get a faceful. I'd had time to do some thinking since mid-afternoon, when the three partners and I had retreated to our respective corners. It was no mystery when you thought about it calmly. No one had stolen our works in progress file. A thief would have covered his tracks. He would have left everything the way he'd found it. He wouldn't have erased the disk. He would have copied its contents onto another disk and left the original intact. We'd have never known anyone had broken into our confidential files, and then the thief could have really gone to town on us. No, whoever had trashed the office hadn't been some thief out to steal our client list and ruin our practice. But what was he after? And more important, who was he? I once had a law professor who specialized in obvious yet neglected truths. He used to say that you could tell what people wanted by the results of their actions. The only result of the previous night's actions, as far as I could tell, had been my embarrassment. The only people I knew who might have wanted to embarrass me were the two palookas who'd been doing their best all day to make me look bad. Good old Al and Tom. I twirled the mace canister around in my hand. What did I have to lose? They weren't going to make me partner. My brother could push them around to a point, but not that much, and not if they were dead set against me. And after all I'd done for them, the ungrateful bastards. While it wouldn't even the score, shooting mace into their smug kissers would make me feel better. I might even get away with it. After all, I was alone, in a dark office. I caught them sneaking around. I couldn't tell who in the hell they were. For all I knew, they were a couple of burglars, so I gave them a snootful. It was a perfectly good excuse. At least, it was good enough to get me out from under an assault rap. That was all I wanted. Midnight crept up on me. Still, I listened for the telltale rattle of the key in the lock, announcing the culprit's return to the scene of the crime, maybe to finish their dirty work. The moon rose over the harbor, high enough to send a flow of faint skim-milk light through the library's side windows. Darkness, shadow, and half-shadow played silently about the room, and I waited. My ears strained at every rumor of a sound, and I waited. The time slid past 12, and the moon rose higher. Its light grew thinner. No key turned the lock on the outer door. I stood the can of mace on the floor. Clutching it had cramped my hand. I stretched my fingers and massaged my palm. The pain worked out and left me feeling foolish. Children crouched under tables, not lawyers. My melodramatic desire for revenge was rapidly subsiding. How did I even know Al and Tom were coming back tonight? How did I know they'd tried to set me up in the first place? I didn't. But what I did know was that I was tired and bored, ready to go home. I caught myself humming. At least, I thought I was humming. But I didn't even know the tune making the rounds in my head. I'd never heard it before. I wasn't doing the humming. I was doing the listening. I shook my head. Had I fallen asleep for a moment and dreamed the tune? No, because now I heard it wide awake. A woman's voice coming from the reception area. An old melody, sung softly, but lively and upbeat. Footsteps, dancing featherlight and gay, skimming along the carpet toward the library and me. I fumbled among the tangled legs of tables and chairs, lost the can of mace, but found my cassette recorder and pushed the record button. The singing stopped at the library's door. Feet were there, I knew, silver phantom feet in the moon's light. They stepped into the library and stepped again, closer to me, delicate, shod in gleaming Cinderella slippers with tall heels that flexed and shaped the calves alluringly. A tiny chain, trying to glint its proper gold beneath the bleaching moon, gently clasped one ankle. The feet turned on toes, one way and the other, then glided past my hiding place toward the seaward-looking windows. This was not the cleaning woman. But I had no idea who it was, or could be. In fact, as I crawled out from under the table and straightened up, I had no ideas in my head of any kind other than a simple, numb, unthinking curiosity. Only when I saw her standing at the window, her back to me, all one color with the moonlight, did I first feel the strangeness of the situation. I swallowed hard. The thought hit me. This could be our ghost. I must have made some sound, because she turned on me with a gasp. Something fell from her hand, bounced across the carpet, and came to rest at my feet. I glanced down, looking for it. She started toward me. I looked up again. She stopped. Her legs were slender. Her dress, knee-length, clung to her body. Her dark hair was cut short and bound by a scarf that encircled her head, its sparkling excess hanging down behind one ear. Her mouth trembled. "Please," she whispered, "give it to me." Again I looked down at my feet. I had almost stepped on it. A little oblong black box resting on the dark carpet near my shoe, almost invisible. I stooped and picked it up. It had a pleasing, weighty feel in my hand. I turned it over. An intricate design in electric blue inlay covered one side. Quite handsome. "A cigarette lighter?" I asked. Tentatively, ready to fly at any sudden move, like a wild animal daring to eat from your hand for the first time, she reached out for the box. "Please," she said again. I tried to smile and handed it to her. She took it quickly, held it to her breast, and smiled at me, all bright eyes, all beautiful, all strange, and summoning wild thoughts from deep within me. I shuddered at her smile. Sweat broke out across my skin. My breath caught on something in my throat. Then she disappeared. I don't mean she went away. I don't mean she stepped out while I wasn't looking. I mean she popped right out of existence. Blink, and she was gone. It was me, my beating heart up against my Adam's apple, the moonlight where she used to be, and that was it. Scared shitless, I ran like hell. And that's it for this excerpt. Well, if you'd like to buy either Snarkey Putts or 5 minutes more on other stories, as I said before, the links are down below. If you'd like to hear me reading excerpts from other of my works, then click on one of the links to either side of my head. In either event, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I hope that I will see you again very soon. Thanks for stopping by.